Okay, now a question from our audience. Thank you for using the CHANI app to leave your audio questions. Here is this week's.
Chani, hi, I love you. Okay, so my question is about the North Node and South Node. So, of course, I know how they move throughout the sky, and right now we're in Virgo and Pisces, and it's this kind of like 1.5 to 3 year long period. And the North Node is what we're hungry for more of, and the South Node is what we're letting go of. My question is, for example, if I have Virgo in my 10th house, does that mean that I'm just going to be hungry for more career recognition, or does that mean that more career recognition will come into my life? Like, do the nodes just represent what we want more of, or does it represent the themes that we can kind of predict coming into our lives? I just would love some more clarification on that. Thank you so much.
Great question. Okay, so the South Node is in Virgo right now. So whatever house contains Virgo in your chart, it is getting a dressing down. It is getting a cleaning. I want you to think of it, the South Node, as a literal drain point. So if it's moving through your 10th house, it means there's something that you're losing. There's something that you're letting go of. There's something that you're releasing. There's something that you're putting out into the world. So for some people that have Virgo in their 10th house, AKA Sagittarius risings, you'll notice the loss of a job or the loss of a role at work or the loss of staff or the loss of a business deal or the loss of some part of your reputation. Now, that's not a bad thing, the reputation part. Maybe you're stepping down from one thing that you do, but it's in order to make room for something else. Maybe you're putting out a massive project and you're just like, okay, I'm leaving it all out on the field. And after you do that, you might not have a lot to like a lot of energy to go with for the next thing. It might be a release point, and then you just have to wait a little bit for things to fill up. The nodes will only transit through a part of your chart for about 1.5 years. It's about 18 months. So it's not actually that long, but it doesn't mean that we won't still have eclipses in and around there. So wherever the South Node is, there's a healing, there's a clearing, there's a letting go, and sometimes there's what feels like or actually is a loss. It is one of those things where it's like, okay, we're pulling the plug on the drain. I hope we got everything out of the tub that we didn't want to go down the drain. Sometimes you're like, oh no, everything went down the drain. I didn't mean for that to happen. Listen, with the Virgo South Node transit, I personally have noticed how it takes a lot. Like it just kind of, because Virgo is ruled by Mercury and Mercury is about details and data and specifics, we've lost a lot of details and data and specifics. And a lot of details and data and specifics have been released into the world. So you can think of it both ways. But I've noticed it like, wow, we missed what did we miss? And then now it's going to cost us what is it costing? Oh my gosh. Mercury is also, again, Mercury rules Virgo. So mercurial things are going down or they're being washed away or they're being released. Mercury also rules sales and money. Like Mercury is the merchant. So sometimes we can notice a loss of money or a loss of accounting or a loss of data or a loss of the fine-tuned details in the house that is containing Virgo in our chart. Now, if Virgo is your first house, that might be a loss of an identity or a loss of energy or a loss of a sense of self that you thought was so secure and so sturdy. And you're like, oh, actually, that's not really how I identify. If it's in your second house, it could be money. If it's in your third house, it could be words. It could be your writing. You could be releasing a book, or you could be, oh no, I just, deleted a whole manuscript. It's a combination of things. Now, where the North Node is transiting, Pisces right now, and it depends on when you're listening to this, it could have already changed. But where the North Node is transiting, there will be an increase of activity. It's not that you want more necessarily, although you might, but you'll notice there's an increase of activity. It's not that we want less where the South Node is happening, although we might, but it's that there's a decrease of something. There's a loss of something, there's a letting go of something, there's a release of something wherever the South Node is transiting. Wherever the North Node is transiting, there's going to be an increased chaos, there's going to be increased activity, there's going to be increased opportunity, And maybe there's an increase of your own appetite for that thing, but not necessarily. It doesn't have to always be that way. You might notice that it's describing something that's happening in your life, not that it's something you're feeling. Or you might notice that it is something you're feeling and not only what is just happening, or the increase of the feeling, or your feeling increases for your desire for something increases. And so therefore you start to attract more opportunities because it's what you're focusing on. It's what you're noticing. So it can be a combination of those things. Remember, nodes are where eclipses happen, and eclipses are chaotic. They're a mixture. They're exciting. They're wild. Wouldn't say they're good or bad. They're not necessarily thought of as quote unquote good for like astro magic or for for doing things with, astrologically speaking. But they're just charged points. So charged letting go is the south node, and charged increase is the north node. So that might be something you experience externally. It might be something you experience internally. And of course, one impacts the other. So it might be a little bit of both. And I think it's really helpful to look at your south node transit, or wherever the south node is transiting in your chart, to be like, okay, I'm going to just work on healing. I'm going to work on letting go of control in this area of my life. And I'm going to be very mindful of what I don't want to lose, of what could go down the drain. And where the north node is happening, you could go, okay, there's probably going to be an increase of opportunity here. So what part of that opportunity do I want to focus on? Do I want to call in? Do I want to have more of? Do I feel like, oh yeah, that could be a really good fit for me? So thinking about that. And then when the eclipses happen, they are pronouncements or announcements or exclamation points of that experience, because they are the like bam moment that brings something through or brings something into being. And actually what I want you to do is right now go to the Chani app and go to the home page, and under today, if you scroll down, you'll see what's happening in the sky. And if you click through, eventually you'll get to your north and south node horoscopes. And these will tell you exactly where this is happening for you and what it means, what to look for. Did you know there was like 13 extra horoscopes in the Chani app? There's your daily horoscope up at the top. And then under the moon phase, there's the what's happening in the sky. And there's a set of 13 horoscopes that tell you where every single planet is in the sky in your chart right now. Every single planet is transiting through some part of your chart right now. And these horoscopes tell you where and what it means and what to do about it. All right, y'all. I hope that's helpful.